If you don't want to be offended by this video, please click off because we're splitting this video into two parts: third party and non-third party characters. So Nintendo characters, and we'll be doing the Nintendo characters first, as this is gonna be the more divisive one. And we're talking about the least likely characters in Smash Bros. This way, mostly look at the relevance or requestedness, because of course there could be a character that's completely irrelevant, but at least the fans want them, like Isaac. But we're talking about the least likely characters to be in Smash 6. The first character, I think, is any Gen 3 Pokemon. Okay, Gen 3, I really want Gen 3 to get a representation. Okay, but Gen 3 is so long ago, 20 years old now, we're reaching, and they got a remake of Gen 3 in 2014, which is also new. It's now 10 years old. Yeah, time flies. But now, we're now on Generation 9, and we're also now on Kalos remakes, because we already have a Kalos mod in the game. What would be the point of me adding a Gen 3 Pokemon? Gen 5 as well could be added to this list as well. But I think a Gen 5 and Gen 3 Pokemon are very, very unlikely. Okay? Unless Nintendo finally stops saying, hey, instead of adding newest Pokemon, let's add in fan favorite Pokemon. Again, I don't really think they'll do that type of thing. Okay? But I really do not think that we're going to be getting a Gen 3 or Gen 5 Pokemon anytime soon. Or heck, even a Gen 8 Pokemon, as Gen 9 now exists as well. You know, I think Nintendo always pulls from the newest Pokemon games, with a few exceptions, for example, Gen 1 Pokemon being added, and Gen 3 with the Pokemon Trainer. And besides that, there is really no other Pokemon you could really add into the game. Number 2, least likely character to be in Smash Bros. Porky Mints. Porky Mints is the main villain of Earthbound and Butterfree, or the number 2 villain in Earthbound besides Gygus. But I just don't see any sort of likeliness Porky Mints will be added. Okay, there was this whole theory that Porky Mints will be added as a playable character in the next games, okay? You know, the next Mother game, or the next Smash Bros. Ultimate as a DLC character. But why would Nintendo release a DLC slot for a villain for a game that hasn't received a new entry in 2006? I think Porky is even more unlikely as Earthbound and Mother 3, despite what the vocal minority wants to tell us, that these two games are extremely, extremely unlikely, you know, to be getting a new game anytime soon, okay? You know, unless something drastic happens and Earthbound gets like a full-on remake in 2025, it's extremely unlikely Porky Mints will be added in the next Smash Bros. Game. Next unlikely character is any other Punch-Out character. People be like, but why? Punch-Out is... I just don't think Punch-Out is getting a second character. I think Real Mac will probably be in as a safe character. We talked about that in depth, of which characters will be safe or not. Third-party characters will be in iffy about that because Nintendo does not own those characters. So yes, Mega Man is not safe, 90s kids. But, Little Mac, it's just... Punch-Out hasn't received a new game since, like, the 2000s. And that's mostly because Nintendo's probably afraid because of the modern culture has ruined everything. But I just do not think there will be another Punch-Out character. I think the most likely characters they could add are like King Hippo and some of the other, you know, famous battlers in the game. Okay, but, you know, Punch-Out is just not that big of a series. I'm just sorry. Punch-Out hasn't received a new game in like since 2006. And I think it was like 2009 Punch-Out for the Wii. And not many people really bought the game. It wasn't a very popular game, and I just don't see it happening. I just don't see a second Punch-Out character happening. I know some people want a second Punch-Out character, mostly because they're fans of the franchise, but I just don't see it happening. I just don't see it happening at all, okay? It's just a very, very, very unlikely at this current moment, okay, as a new character. The next character who I think is very, very unlikely is a second ARMS rep. And once they get ARMS 2 for the Switch too, which is very possibility, I think ARMS stand as a 1-rep character, you know, considering there's so many more Nintendo games that released since the DLC, like Pikmin 4, you have, you know, so many potential characters, like a new Pokemon you could add, a new Xenoblade game, you got, you know, because I think Nintendo's it's gonna be like Smash 4, they're gonna pick the moat and Smash Brawl, where they're gonna pick characters from the most relevant games, they can't because that's how it usually is. And of course, third party characters that, fans request the most, you know, and we always talk about the most likely characters. I just don't see Arms getting a second character. Unless they add a second Arms character as a DLC for Arms 2, if they release Arms 2, but has not really been too successful. Okay, even with Nintendo pushing Sakurai to put Min Min in Smash Bros, I just don't see Arms becoming a two-character fighter roster. Okay, I am just dead serious on that. I just don't see it, getting a second character. And the same thing with F-Zero. I don't see F-Zero getting a second rep unless Nintendo revives F-Zero and brings back F-Zero. I just don't see the point of adding a second F-Zero game. Okay? You can say that it's unfair or, blah blah blah, that Nintendo is just ignoring F-Zero, but that's the whole point. Nintendo doesn't care about F-Zero that much, or you gotta have a second character. Okay? If you talk about the financial, Nintendo's gonna add all the characters that people like, and also there isn't much of a request for F-Zero, a second F-Zero rep either. Okay? There isn't much demand for it. Okay? As much as, Xeno or any, it comes to obscure franchises and obscure characters, there's more demand for Xeno, which they really brought back Xeno in Mario RPG, which that's why Xeno will not be mentioned in this video, because Mario RPG Remake exists, which means Xeno is actually relevant for the first time since forever. Okay, but the difference between Xeno and F-Zero, at least F-Zero got stages in Mario Kart 8, but I just don't see that justifying a second character. Maybe an Echo character, okay, could work, and I think that's the best they can do, add Black Shadow or, as an Echo for Captain Falcon, but they already did that with Ganondorf, and, I just don't see F-Zero being that popular to get a second character, okay? Same thing with Earthbound Threat's mother, I think Earthbound might be reduced to a one character, okay, because Lucas is not too popular of a character, not many people really play him, okay, and also, I can see, Punch-Out being a one-character roster still, and, I think those are pretty likely to happen, okay? I can see 100% Punch-Out saying that one-character game, one-character, spot, and I don't really see a character like Little Mac getting a second character, and many of these other characters getting second characters. There's a reason why these franchises have been pretty irrelevant for a while, and I just don't see them being added. There aren't really many fan favorite characters from any of these series, like Widow Man, like Punch Out doesn't really have many fan favorite characters, and let's not forget the fact that Punch Out doesn't really have many fan favorite characters. The Punch-Out community isn't really that big. F-Zero, Earthbound, Transmother. These are Nintendo's smaller franchises. I can see Pikmin getting another character because Pikmin had a new game, and there's a very easy character to add in, which is Oatzy, the dog character from Pikmin 4. Okay? So I can see Pikmin having two characters, and also because Miyamoto loves Pikmin so much, that it makes a lot of sense. And Miyamoto says, "Hey, Sakurai, please add Oatzy in Smash Bros. Because I want to promote him in Smash Bros." And, and it makes a lot of sense to add Oatzy into Smash Bros. It doesn't make any sense to add in a second F-Zero character. I think the next one, which is actually a surprisingly or very highly requested character, and that's Crystal from Star Fox. I just don't see Star Fox having that much of a relevancy to have more than 3 characters, okay? I think the 3 characters we have for Star Fox is perfect. And heck, if they really want to, can reduce it down to 2, either, or down to 3, and have Falco as an Echo for Fox and have Wolf as a non-Echo. Okay? We can keep both characters in, but I just don't see the point in having 4 Star Fox characters. Star Fox hasn't had a new game since Star Fox Zero, and technically Starlink, but I think if they did add another Star Fox character, Crystal would make the most sense, as that's the most requested, most popular character outside the main 3, and I just don't see them adding another Star Fox character. And now talking about, lesser characters, these are characters that are, not very popular compared to other characters in the franchise. Okay, the next one I think is Cranky Kong. He appears in Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze. There are 2 more characters I think are more likely to appear than Cranky Kong. Okay, and that's Dixie Kong and that's Funky Kong. Funky Kong because of how popular he is as a character, because he was in Mario Kart Wii. Okay, and of course Dixie Kong because every Smash cycle, there's always every single most wanted characters list has Dixie Kong on it. Don't know why, but it's just very strange. I'm surprised it isn't Funky Kong, considering how popular he was in Mario Kart Wii. That the demand was so high to brought him back for Mario Kart 8. Okay, as DLC character. Okay, but I just don't see Cranky Kong or any of the other Kongs happening as playable characters. Same thing with the Tikis as well and the Seal people. Like, these characters are utterly very forgettable compared to King K. Rool. I couldn't see Nintendo cutting King K. Rool because they hate the old Donkey Kong games a lot. Like, I can actually see that happening. Like, in terms of, Sakurai, we let you add in King K. Rool because the fans requested it, but we gotta ask King K. Rool because, he isn't the character we want, okay? Look at a theme park, okay? You see King K. Rool anywhere? Okay? And next is, Kirby. I think Kirby's gonna get another character, but it's just there's so many choices for Kirby. Like, there's more choices than you think, but I think the most popular ones are Galactonite, Banana Wild D, Mox, and Magawar. Okay, Mox having a big presence in the Smash Bros. As a boss. Okay, Red Ryu is a boss twice in the game. Mox can definitely be a playable character. And also, Ganon and Bowser are bosses, and they're still playable in different forms. Okay, Mox can definitely be playable. And heck, you can even just rip off his Style Allies moveset and add that as a playable character. Also, you have Magawar, which, I think probably out of all of the Kirby characters, and all of the Kirby villains, I think he's probably the most requested as he is one of the most iconic and popular Kirby villains. And I think if there was a Kirby popularity poll, of course the first four would be the Banana Wild D, Kirby, Meta Knight, and King Dedede. But I think Magawar might be a 5th or 6th place. Besides the Galactonite or Morphle Knight, because a lot of people like both of those characters. And I think unlikely characters like Vector Alphys, I know Kirby and Forgotten Land, they could easily add them in for Kirby and Forgotten Land. Okay, but the thing is, Kirby has just so many, Kirby is not Mario or Fire Emblem. Okay, they're gonna add the characters that people want to see, like Magawar. And also, let's forget the fact that Kirby and Return to Dreamland got a re-release as well. Okay, well, that's actually more recent than Kirby and Forgotten Land, even. Okay, as well. Kirby, and also following that Kirby and Return to Dreamland fans will be happy that game gets represented, and not just the old Kirby games get represented. So I think characters like Vector Alphys are pretty unlikely, as he only appears as one game for now. Okay, and also characters like Dalos and the Squeaks are pretty unlikely as well, as they're not very popular characters as much as Magawar or Mox, which are two very popular characters, or even Nightmare, who got it as a Sis trophy, which I think he'll stay as a Sis trophy in this entry of Smash Bros. But he also is in that Kirby anime as like the main final boss in that Kirby anime movie. For those who saw that movie, Nightmare was like the main villain of that anime, okay, of that movie. And he didn't already have all the iconic Kirby characters in, and I just don't see Vector Alphys or Nightmare or Dalos or any or Dracula or any more obscure Kirby villains making it in as playable characters. Heck, there was even a person who made the most popular Kirby characters, and they didn't even include Vector Alphys or Dalos. They actually include Gooey and Ribbon Go more than those two characters, which really says volumes about both characters. They do have pretty strong fan bases, but I just don't think they're likely. Then I go to Mario series, and I think a very unlikely character is King Ollie. I just don't think King Ollie or Olivia caught on as characters all too much. Outside of a small community who actually do like the character, I just don't think King Ollie is that popular of a Mario character to get, and even in the Paper Mario characters, if they do add Paper Mario and a second Paper Mario character, I think it'll probably be Dimencio or one of the partners from Fowl's Door, as those are far more likely and far more popular than King Ollie as well, Another character thing is pretty unlikely to be added in are more generic enemies. I know Sakurai added in Piranha Plant as a playable character, but Piranha Plant was clearly added in as a joke character. I don't really see him doing it twice. They can do it twice, but I don't see it doing him twice this cycle. And also, we can go to WarioWare like Captain Syrup. I think Nintendo does include a WarioWare character, or does include Waluigi as the second Wario character if they really wanted to, or they really wanted to push that as a second WarioWare character. Also, Nintendo has several characters they can pull in that are still made. The characters like Pauline isn't in, Toad isn't in, and Waluigi isn't in. These are three extremely popular characters that I think Nintendo would put in because Waluigi is constantly in like the top 10 most popular characters. Toad is of course one of the most iconic Mario characters. And also in terms of generic enemies, I think Nintendo could add in Dry Bones, considering how popular Dry Bones is, or a character like Shy Guy as well. I think those are the two most popular generic enemies in Mario. So of course those two are could be added the most, and Shy Guy would have a lot of personality added as a playable character. And considering that Shy Guy has taken many forms, and this Dry Bones would just be a pretty hilarious character to add in Smash Bros. And also they add Piranha Plant as a playable character. But I think if they really want to, they can replace. And I think the problem is they could easily just replace Piranha Plant with PD Piranha. I think the problem is Mario has actually a lot of characters. I think unlike characters like King Babam, okay? King Babam is not making in the next Smash Bros. Game, okay? Considering the fact there are characters like Xeno, Waluigi, considering there's the new Mario RPG game, which means if Nintendo said, hey, if you want to promote Mario RPG even more, we can, or heck, they make a sequel to Mario RPG, which I think is actually pretty possible, considering how Square and Nintendo are now friendly on the terms now. And they also have, characters like Waluigi and Toad. Fast Captain Toad. They can actually make Toad and Captain Toad the same character. And let's have, or you actually just put in Captain Toad and just say, hey, or let's add in just a Toad. Considering they've done that in the 2D Mario games, they can add in the Toad and add in the Toad colors as all playable characters. Kind of like they do with Yoshi, considering that, I know people want Captain Toad because he is, an actual character, unlike the Toad, okay? But Toad has been a playable character in many Mario games as well. But I think unlike characters like King Babam, Farfel, Dimencio, King Ollie, those characters that I don't think anyone really cares for, okay? Zelda, I don't really know too much about, but I think unlike characters like Vati, and Toon Zelda, I think their chance has come around, okay? I just don't see them being added anytime soon. And there's other Zelda characters, like some more obscure characters, like the King is definitely not being added because no one likes the CDI games. It would be funny, but I just don't think they would add anything from the CDI games ever, okay? And I don't think they'll also add in, anyone from and I don't think Gyroom will be added, okay? Because Skyward Sword is a long time ago already in terms of games, okay? And Gyroom has kind of fallen off in terms of popularity. I think when it comes to Zelda, I think they're going to add in a Breath of the Wild character, Impa, or Skull Kid, which I think those are the front runners for a new Zelda game, as a playable rep in Smash Bros. Metroid, I don't know all too much about, but characters like Kraid and Motherbrain are very unlikely to be in Smash Bros. I think keeping Metroid to around 3 to 4 characters makes sense. Get rid of Zero Suit Samus, keep, Dark Samus and Ridley, and heck, add Emmy as a 4th playable character. Makes a lot of sense. And we can go over other Nintendo franchises, and we only went over Pokemon, but again, we just had to go through whole generations of Pokemon because of how many Pokemon there are. Fire Emblem, I really don't know much about Fire Emblem. So yeah, I think Fire Emblem, any character from any obscure game, that a lot of Japanese only games are unlikely. Splatoon's a relatively new series, so same thing with Xenoblade. Pikmin is pretty strange, okay? I think Pikmin's just gonna have 2 characters, so Rui maybe, because, or Elf, because Pikmin 3 has been long gone. And other than that, they have Animal Crossing, but it's mostly just the generic villages and stuff. But they also have many characters that are that's not very popular to be added into the game. I think those are the most unlikely, because we can go into because we haven't really went to 3rd-party characters yet. And, of course, there's tons of Nintendo IPs like Custom Robots not going to get representation, or Fossil Fighters, or any very obscure Nintendo property is not going to get a new character anytime soon. So, I think other than that, those are the least likely Nintendo characters to be in Smash Bros. Characters, I think nobody is going to say, oh yeah, I really want this character in Smash Bros. Okay, very obscure characters I think are gonna be, left on the wayside when it comes to popularity and financial importance. Okay, as well. Okay, we're not gonna count out characters like the officers from the actual chain and stuff because of the new games, but if Nintendo doesn't add them in Smash Bros., then it's very unlikely they'll be added as playable characters. Also, there's really many people clamoring for those characters from that game to be added. I really don't think there is. Again, most of Smash communities always want the same characters over and over and over again. It kind of is an echo chamber of some sort because, yeah, but I think that, characters like Porky Min's Rin and I think Man of the Assist Trophy characters are not making it into Smash Bros. As well, you know. And we'll go over another video on third party characters. So, yeah, you know who isn't going to be in Smash 6? Sante. But that will be in the next video. So, goodbye.